Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the January Slow Flowers member meetup. It is Friday the 13th, but it's a good luck Friday. We're thinking positive thoughts here and ready for some energy and some excitement. And I just want to welcome you all and do a little housekeeping and introductions while we're admitting people. Some people, Victoria has already said hello. People are jumping into the chat to introduce themselves. We had over 50 people register for this today. So I know it's easy to register and then not make it, but the replay video will be available and we will send the replay video to everyone who did pre-register. It'll take maybe a week or so to do that. So good morning. I'm Deborah Prinzing. I'm ready for a great Slow Flowers year of 2023. How many are just ready for 2022 to just disappear, right? It was a challenge. Today, I have a couple announcements. We have one giveaway. We have a Slow Flowers goodie bag that Karen's putting together. So Anisha's going to draw names from those of you who are here for that giveaway. And the only other thing I really want to announce is that the Slow Flowers creative writing workshop that I'm doing, I offer about once a year, is open. And Karen can put the link in the chat, but it is registration continues until the class starts, which is January 28th, which is in a couple weeks, but the $100 off discount code goes through the 15th. People registered already, which is a great size group for writing. And there's people on this call who've been in past courses. So I really appreciate that. And then of course the Slow Flower Summit registration continues. We have over a third of the tickets sold from our early bird promotion. And if you're a member, you're still going to benefit from $100 off. So we'll more on that later, but that link will be in the chat too. So we're ready for the new year. I'm kind of anti the word resolution, and I don't know about our guest, Emily Ellen Anderson, but I'm going to have her join me on the screen here. And we're going to talk a little bit about Emily, and I want to introduce her before we jump into this wonderful session. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hey, I'm really good. Hi, guys.
It's so good to see you. Emily is a longtime Slow Flowers member. Some of you may remember she was a speaker at the very first Slow Flowers Summit. I loved your talk so much, Emily. It was sort of the first time I had the concept that florists are artists and artists need to run their studios like businesses. And I have that on recording. I should find it and share it with people. Maybe Karen can find it on the 2017 video link on our Slow Flower Summit page. But that was an amazing talk. And I'm so glad that you were starting your coaching and consulting back then, right?
Yeah, that's just the beginning. And just when I had started really promoting, I just wanted to shake people and be like, hey, art, people, they want you to be the artist. They want you to come out and lead with that. So I remember just wanting to puke before that. I've never had that long of a speech before. And afterwards I was like, I still feel like I'm going to puke, but I think I really love doing this. So,
I'm so glad. Oh, that's great. That's so great. I always recommend having a small glass of wine before you present.
That's a great idea.
But maybe not that right now because it's so early. I'm just having my caffeine. I'm just going to read your bio for everybody. It's short, and then we'll jump in. And we have some fun things we're going to think about doing today. Emily is, through her business, Curious Lola, which is, I think, the main website that we're sharing with people, right?
Yeah.
Emily is a business and bravery coach for artists, and florists are in that term, artists. And flower farmers are too. Emily helps creative entrepreneurs sell art to support their life, be willing to be seen and heard, and expand their own creative impact. Through a mix of practical strategy, business tools, and self-awareness exercises, artists who work with Emily grow their art practices in ways they never imagined were possible. The result is a self-assured, empowered artist who is deeply connected with their own creative genius. The result of which is, not surprisingly, a vibrant, flourishing business, which is what we all want. Do you want to add anything to that, Emily? Because that's kind of the elevator pitch.
I love it.
So one of the things Emily's willing to do is walk through your goals with you. So if anybody is willing to be, I don't want to use the word guinea pig, but be kind of a beta here. We're going to go with Nisha first because Nisha said she was willing to ask some questions about her goals. Please put them in the chat and we'll just work through them. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay. Do you feel about the word resolution the way I do, or how do you?
Oh no, yeah, that makes me roll my eyes for sure. So resolution, I don't know, it kind of implies that you're doing it wrong in the first place and that you need fixing. And a lot of what I teach and what I've tried to work into my own life is that like it's all here for a reason. It's all beautifully essential, and we're gonna like love on that and grow from that as well. So you know, but the timing is really good, just as like the whole idea of a resolution to kind of look at what you're doing and make sure that it's still what you want to be doing or is excellent. So in that way, I do recommend that people stop and zoom out and make sure that this is what they still love it. Like they still, and if they don't, then why? And we're not like trying to throw everything away, but what are the small adjustments that can be made towards moving in that direction?
But you came to this approach really through your own creative practice. And maybe you could talk a little bit about that before we jump in with anybody else. But I just feel like you started wanting to go to art school, then you ended up going a different direction. So how did you circle back, and what steps of grief did you have to work through to get to where you are?
Yeah, I think, you know, I mentioned fixing before, and the thing I wanted to fix so bad, and that was so frustrating to me, is that I always felt like I had a shallow understanding of so many things. So the breadth and the experience was really wide because I was interested in everything, and I would just gobble up learning and experiences everywhere. I'd travel the world and I'd build sustainable buildings in Thailand and all over the place. But I would never go deep. So I would always want to try something else. And then I would never become a master, like receive. And I really wanted to be a master at something. And I wanted to have like just one thing that I could just do forever and just and be excellent at and see all the ways that could grow into something. And I did go to art school. I also went to landscape architecture school. So I got 2 degrees and was there just extra long because I couldn't, you know, decide. And they were they now have actually since then combined and made a new public art program that combines landscape architecture and sculpture, which is what I got a degree in. And
that's cool.
Yeah, which is what I had wanted to do at the time, was public art. But yeah, did that. I actually started a landscape design company straight out of college. Realized I didn't know what I was doing because I had never worked for anybody before. I had always been a server in restaurants, and then went to work for a landscape architecture company. All the while I would do sculptures for like restaurants and do paintings and have my own kind of art practice that I never really show anybody. And along the way I would do these little pivots. So as a landscape architect, I was not happy. And around the time of the 2008, whatever we called that then, but
first that old recession,
that other recession or whatever. But I had the opportunity to start in flowers, and I realized I liked it way better than what I was doing as a project manager. And I'm like, I'm just going to be a floral designer. And then from there, I was like, gosh, I really love building, and I'm not getting that with just floral design. So we started doing full event design, and then we started being more artistic and pushing more sustainable and started pushing that. And then just recently with the pandemic, which gave us all like a good opportunity to really evaluate and switch if we wanted to, I could not keep my company. I couldn't keep my employees anymore. And I realized then that I think I was really sticking in with it because I loved them so much and what we were building. And that became a piece of art too, is just building and managing people and learning to make a business a beautiful thing that you love. And I loved it so much that I stuck with that, I think, longer than I had wanted to. And I wanted to teach and I wanted to coach. So, so I got more certifications in learning in that. And now I'm coaching, which is flipping back to that like shallowness. It's actually been one of the things that served me the most, is just knowing a little bit about everything and being able to kind of look out over the landscape and pull in all the different things from everywhere.
But observing you over the last 3 or 4 years, mainly through social media, but, through COVID, you also became a mom. And I feel like that was part of your influence. Like, how do I have a business and raise kids and make this all work with a holistic lifestyle? And I feel like if you were doing wedding work every weekend, that maybe wouldn't have, or corporate work like you did so much of, that maybe wouldn't have been really sustainable for you.
No. Yeah, true. Yep. That's not how I wanted to work anymore. And with a team, they can really help carry that. And but it's not something that I was willing to build back up on my own. With where I'm at in my life right now, with a 7-year-old, and I have a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah. So I think, do you want to chat with a few people about what their goals are and just work through them?
That sounds really good.
Okay, great. Nisha, why don't Nisha, our social media manager, offered to go first. And this will be great. Nisha will be our warm up, and then I think we'll run out of time. I think we'll just try to keep everybody to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So my goal this year is to try to I know balance doesn't always come like, it's all year round. It's like every year you're going to have to try to find new balances when things get thrown at you. But like, what would be some tips to like kind of align your work-life balance and try to avoid burnout?
Yeah. So you probably know what burnout feels like. What does balance feel like?
Calm and aligned.
Yeah.
Happiness.
And so when you're feeling calm and aligned, what kind of thoughts are you having about your business?
Like everything's going smoothly.
Yeah. And what does that mean? What's a smooth business in life?
I don't know.
Yeah. What
So
if
would that be balance or?
Well, we're just trying to kind of detangle your own definition for it right now. So right now you're saying I want balance, and that means I want to feel like things are going smoothly, but I don't know what smooth is.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you're just like everything kind of just, I have enough time to do everything in a day. Like a lot of it has to do with timing and just like managing my time.
Yeah. And when you don't have enough time to do everything in a day, what happens? Like, what's your energy? Like, what was that?
It rolls over to the next day, but it kind of causes a little bit more of like, okay, check this off the list. It goes, back onto the top of the list.
Yeah. And what's your energy like around those things?
Sometimes it's stressful if it depends on like, the deadline or like how urgent it needs to be put out. Or it could be like also snowballing in a sense, depending on like what the project may be.
Yeah. So it seems like smoothly is being able to do everything in a day and not have to snowball it.
Yeah.
So
I keep seeing things where it's like Beyonce has the same amount of time in a day.
Yeah, she does. She also has a massive team. But she didn't always, right? Like she didn't always. So first, I just want to like show you that you're setting up this situation that's like things aren't going smooth, therefore they're not balanced if we have this snowball thing where things are going to roll over into the next day. And you're allowing yourself to have the trigger for that is to like be stressed out and or anxious and be like, oh shoot, this is snowballing. Now we're not balanced. No, things are not smooth. So I'm wondering if it's realistic to be able to do everything in the day that you say.
Yeah.
Do you think it's realistic?
It can be, as long as, time is managed properly and like putting certain things in like a hierarchy order of like, important, not important, well, not as important. And this can, be pushed off a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you like blew out your business and kind of looked over the whole thing, like what is it? Why do you do what you do? Like, what's it all about?
And it's weird because like the way you had mentioned earlier, like you're building those relationships and it's like you want to maintain them, like you've nurtured them from, the floor up. And it's like, it's more of like a nurturing sense of like, I've helped make this grow.
Yeah.
I think what it is with like businesses, it's just like, I'm here to help, create a foundation or a communication outlet for them to like prosper in the social world.
Oh my gosh. So I just noticed, and I think everybody else here did, your energy in saying like, I helped make this grow. Like I'm nurturing these relationships and helping these people have their impact in the world, right? So like that, there's something magical around that rather than I need a better work-life balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like in setting your goal, you might want to dig into that. I help somebody today. I nurture relationships. So what if your goal would be at the end of every day or having some kind of practice that makes you notice the way that you help somebody nurture a relationship?
Okay.
And look at it as in like, today happened, we're going to do some things tomorrow, but today I fulfilled my purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the work-life part is, there's some things that are you're in control. Definitely your energy is in your control and your attitude and your thoughts about what you're doing.
Right.
And if we were working together, we might decide to have different thoughts about any snowballing because the time is the time, right?
Right.
And in terms of work-life balance, I like to say that a balance is actually 50% of things going poorly and 50% of things going pretty well, right? So like you have like irritating, terrible, horrifying, embarrassing, like all that on the lower 50. And then you have joy and contentment and ease and play maybe on the other end. And having both of those together is balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the snowballing is not necessarily a problem. So part of having work-life balance could be just reframing snowballing. Be like, yeah, of course. Of course it snowballs. Like, of course this will have to be, of course I'm going to have to talk to Deborah or whoever and tell them that I'm not able to, like, these are the priorities and I'm not going to be able to get to the other things. It's because there's time and I'm a human. You know what I mean?
That's great, Emily. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nisha.
Thanks for being brave.
Okay, shall we go to the next person who's
Yeah,
been
if
brave?
anybody
Okay.
wants to jump in, we can do yours or
I think we'll do some members, and
Wow.
our Karen said she'd go at the end.
great.
So Rachel Burgoon from Feathers and Flowers in Wenatchee, Washington is here. We're gonna put her on the screen. I did give her a notice, so I'll try to go through the list and let you know when you're up next, folks. She says it's our second year growing, and she's in Wenatchee, Washington, and her goal for 2023 is to block out office hours for herself to stay on top of the business aspect of her flower farm. So I think a lot of people can relate to that. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for coming on screen with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So tell me more. Block out office hours.
Yep. So last year was our first year, and I used all of my downtime in November and December scrambling to find receipts from the spring when I was really busy. And I'm reaping the repercussions of that right now because I'm very far behind, and kind of going back to the work-life balance. I was expecting to have a little bit more home time and time with the kids, but I'm actually struggling to get all the tax information and income and expenses. So I would like to stay on top of that this year.
Yeah. Why?
Because I really want some downtime when we're not growing. I want to be with the family for the holidays. I want to be relaxed in January. I want to feel slow when I'm not growing.
Okay. Okay. And you're saying that blocking out office hours is something is a practice you'd like to try to get that result. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. What do you think the obstacles are going to be?
Not taking that blocked out time and saying, "Ooh, I could just skip it today," or I could skip it this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would get in the way that you would want to skip it?
It's more fun to be out in the garden than to be on an Excel worksheet.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you want to skip it sometimes to be with your family?
Yep, I would say that. Or just if something came up, a sick kid, a nice cooler weather day that it's better to be out in the garden, or I really just don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I get it. So I just want to point out that you're saying that I wouldn't block out this time so that I could have more fun out in the garden, be with my family, just do something fun, or if something arises and I can, with the family, then I can tend to that and not do these receipts and stuff like that. So the reason you're blocking out time is the same goal. Okay.
Yep.
So it's a little bit of a catch-22 where the reason why you don't have receipts now is because at those times, hopefully you traded that time where you could have been doing your receipts and being very organized. You traded that time for being out in the garden and being with your family and tending whatever came up and doing something else.
Yep.
You have any thoughts about that?
Nope, that sounds right. Yep.
Okay.
I just have to be more, I have to be intentional. And, I think one of the things that I see is consistency for me. Yeah. So I want to block out from 1 to 2 every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't want to say just 1 hour this week. I'm bad about pushing it if it's not consistent and blocked on a regular schedule. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm going to aim towards.
Yeah.
And just consistency is my friend. So I know that about myself and most people. So that's, I think it'll take practice and patience, but I know how I'm feeling right now and I'm feeling behind. So I don't want to feel that next time.
Yeah. And so one of the obstacles you might come up with is that you might feel behind in being out in the garden or being with family at those times.
Right.
You're like, this is the time that I've decided that this is going to be me in the office being organized.
Absolutely. Yep. I think just sticking to it, being firm on that.
And why is that? Why, what are you going to do in those situations where, tell me like a situation, you're coming up on that 1 to 2 during the day and it's a beautiful day outside and you haven't had very many beautiful days, but right now the sun came out just when you're supposed to be in the office.
Yep. I'm just going to have to remember the moment in January where I wanted to be relaxed and stay true to what I said I would do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it will have, you'll be telling yourself something to the degree of, I'm a person who says I do what I'm going to say. And
Yep.
I've decided that I'm going to do this. Okay.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. Good. I can report back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would offer too that it might not be a problem. That you don't have your receipts together. You could choose like, well, I'm trading that time during the whole year to have that time with family and do what I want then, or I'm trading it at the end. And it's both still good. I can be spending the time there, or I can spread it out.
Yep, I like that. Yeah, spreading it out. That's a good way to put it too.
Yeah. But like the heaviness of like, dang, I wish I was more consistent of why it was wrong. You know, like that can just be tossed out. You don't need that kind of judgment, you know?
That's great, Rachel. Let us know how it goes. Okay, I gave our next person a heads up so she knows to come on camera. Tracy Sunby of Freedom Flowers in Stanwood. She's also in her second year. That's kind of cool, a theme here. Tracy said, in our second year as a cut flower business, I'm hoping to grow our business this year through CSA memberships, a la carte weddings and event buckets. I really want to create a brand people can connect with, give back to the community, and allow myself more freedom of creativity in this one life we get. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi there.
I like that little last bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I have lots of distraction in the background. I have a wily puppy and I have an 18-month-old son. So something could pop up at any time.
Same boat. I get it. I've heard my son like peeking through and I was like about to be like, nope.
I know. He was like watching a movie quietly. I'm like, he just out over there.
So you have kind of like overarching stuff that you're going to work on for brand development. Yes. Tell me about your farm and how it is medicine for the people that come through.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 2.5 acres in the Happy Valley area of Stanwood. It's my sanctuary. I had a huge transition in life recently. After having my son, I lost my job that I had for 16 years. And my mental health was struggling really bad. And I just got in my garden and I worked my tail off and grew things that I had dreamt about growing over the last decade. And just am so humbled by the support that I had from my community from that first year. I know this is my purpose in life, and just kind of navigating where I'm going to fit in this industry has been fun and really awakening process for me. And so our property offers people that same peace that it offers me. And I do want to offer people to come to the farm as well, because everything that I want to do through my business, it aligns with me being at home with my son and my family.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's beautiful. When you think about, so you mentioned CSA, what else did you mention? Like kind of product-y things you want?
Yeah, so like wedding elopements, because I'm not really huge into full setup weddings. I have a couple this summer that I've accepted just because I need the income. It makes me a little bit more nervous than just doing an elopement or a la carte where they can just pick up their flowers and set them up on their own. And so that makes me nervous that I'm already saying yes to things that like don't really align with me staying at home, because a wedding is going to take a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And then event buckets, because then people can come to the farm and pick it up. I'm an introvert, so I don't want to leave.
Okay, so we want to attract all the people to the farm. People
exactly.
that want to come to you.
exactly.
Okay. Tell me again the peace component, people coming to your farm, because I could like hear some emotion when you talked about that.
Yeah.
And so there's something there. Like what about flowers, land?
Yeah, I think just
farm?
sharing the peace that nature gives me with other people. And I just kind of have this dream that it will be that same sanctuary for other people to just kind of meander through and I don't know, cultivate some curiosity with my kid and involve him in the gardening process and connect with my community because they're going to be the ones that support me. So just to kind of draw them in, I did offer a workshop, a wreath workshop here this winter, and I literally didn't really think anybody was going to come. I have imposter syndrome, and it sold out. And so just having that experience, it brought me a lot of emotion because people gas you up and they show you and remind you what you have that you often take for granted, because I always see what else I have to do around here. I'm really hard on myself. And they're reminding me that it's already perfect and in their eyes. And
it is. Yeah. I love this. Okay, so your new brand is I Am the Brand.
Yeah.
Your new brand is I Am the Brand, and everybody who loves me and wants sanctuary and peace through nature.
Yeah.
You're my people.
It's intimidating to say that I am the brand. I'm like, I don't deserve that. I don't know. It just makes me really intimidated. So in my past job, I was an administrator for a multi specialty medical clinic. And so I was kind of the unsung hero. I was always behind the scenes doing all the admin work and never was really appreciated. And I was kind of fine with that. So this is different being in the spotlight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first I want to point out just your natural magnetism is like, you seem so honest and sincere and like giving and just open that's people want to be around you. Like you're just going to attract people, and because you're obviously humble too, and so people, you're just going to attract people, and that will be just the way it is. I would say, I'm wondering who gave you the idea to do what you're doing now. When you were back there, mental health issues, struggling, who gave you like the permission through just already doing it to give you the idea to do it?
I mean, my garden has always been my kind of place of recluse and where I go to heal and just like dial myself in and get centered. And so I guess it was me that gave myself permission.
Yeah,
It was insane.
That's cool.
I mean, my husband and my mom are incredibly supportive. I have a huge family support system and everything, and they were like, "Do it, go for it." But I was kind of the one that like, "Okay, guys, I think I'm going to start a flower farm."
Yeah, and doesn't everybody deserve sanctuary and peace and mental
health? They really do. We don't give ourselves that enough, I don't think. Everybody's finding, a lot of people are hard on themselves. And I really would like to offer that kind of healing aspect of it. So.
Totally. Well, it sounds like you being you and you just sharing yourself and your stories like this gives other people permission through just you living your life the way that you are, like in line with.
Yeah, my neighbor, she started her own business because she said that I inspired her. And so it's synergy. And it has an effect on people. And I'm humbled about it because she's telling me like, "Thank you. You gave me the courage to do that." And I'm like, wow, that feels really powerful.
It is powerful. Oh my gosh. Like this is exactly the kind of like power that everybody can feel in their businesses when like things are aligned. So I would say it doesn't matter what products or services you are putting out there. You just need to be sharing your stories like this. And I would say your goal might be around like accepting your power as a leader,
Yeah.
like in other people's eyes. And you don't have to, and when I say confidence and power, there's a lot of like bad masculine energy that people put on it. And I'm talking like nature power, like everybody has this. And I can, by me living my life and showing you what it means to me and being so open with that, I'm giving you permission to, and encouraging you to get it as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to be an expert or it doesn't, the imposter syndrome can go out the window.
I know. I have been pretty honest that, I'm learning. We're all learning together. So
yeah.
Kind of put myself out there. It is humbling.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Tracy.
It sounds like you're the brand and everybody's going to want to just come to you.
Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate that. That's sweet.
It's so fun to watch these interchanges. And thanks, Tracy, for being vulnerable and sharing.
Thank you.
Candace Howard, I just gave her a heads up that she's next. Candace owns Duchess Farms. She's kind of I would say, you're like a teenager farmer. You're not a beginning farmer. How long have you been farming, Candace? Let's take you off mute.
I am going into my 5th year.
Okay. So
I was just thinking about that, how crazy those 5 years went by so fast.
Yeah, I love it. So Candace says her farm is in New Jersey, by the way, Emily.
Oh, cool.
Duchess Farms.
Beautiful.
During 2022, I was really thoughtful about what I took on and also stopped doing some of the things I didn't like and didn't make us money. I call that mission creep. I think we can all relate. You also spent more time being creative with dried flowers and floral art and took up drawing with flowers. So where in there is sort of your goal that you're trying to avoid mission creep?
I think I've gotten to the point where I don't have any more mission creep, and that the things that I'm planning on doing this year are more about, I'm really trying to stay sort of tight with what I'm doing to reaching out to my immediate community, which is where my customers are.
Yeah.
And so, I started doing a larger farm market last year, which was so scary for me because I didn't know if I could produce that many flowers, but I just jumped in. And I did really well with that. And it just opened up so much more community. And I want to continue that this year. And I think some of my goals, I'm thinking about doing something on the farm, which I have never dipped my toe into. So maybe we have like 400 lavender plants.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about doing some kind of lavender workshop, which anyone I've mentioned it to has been very excited about it. And also some ways to open up more sources of revenue without that mission creep. So for instance, doing some photography, opening up to photo shoots, and just trying to open up some new sources of revenue, but keeping, my main goal is to grow flowers and steward our land. That has become my overarching goal. It's amazing how much my goals have changed over the 5 years.
Yeah.
So it was making money and keeping my head above water. And as it's grown and my revenue has increased, it's also about stewarding the land and being a good steward of the land, because eventually, I'm in my late 50s. I'm going to move on from this. So I'm thinking more almost legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Making this a working flower farm so that somebody younger can step in at some point and take over. And some of the goals that things that I've been doing over the last couple of years have been about helping younger farmers.
Yeah.
So those are all really rewarding things. But last year I did a project that did help a lot of farmers, but it ended up not being the right thing for me. And I had to step back from being a leader, which is very hard for me. So I've made a lot of big decisions, and I feel like I'm pretty much set for what I'm going to be doing this year.
Yeah.
I think that's just because I've been doing it for 5 years and I have a better idea of who I am.
Yeah.
just from, I think, age and experience. So I don't know if that could be inspirational to other people.
Yeah.
You know, I think the snowballing thing, I've learned that at some point I have to just let it go at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I used to be on my computer, you know, at 1 a.m. reading about soil, and, you know, like I was like, I have to stop doing this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crazy.
So stewarding the land,
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds like there's not a problem. It sounds like you know what you're all about and what you're doing this year. You said you want to get more people on the farm and steward the land. I would just like spend some time journaling. You know, what is the gap from people being stewards of the land and wanting to be stewards of the land and everyday people in your community, right? So that's one thing I would want to know, is what's that gap. And then instead of like being like, well, I have the resources to do this, and this on the farm, and I would instead like really think about these people and that gap and where they're at now, and what you see as somebody who has this wisdom and being in it so long and wanting to build a legacy and being so in touch with the land that you want everybody so bad to know what you know about stewarding. And what is the most powerful experience that you could give these people that would get them in touch with that? So I would say, like, instead of focusing on the small things, and this goes for anybody with any product, like, what's the most transformative thing I can think of, big picture, not talking about resources? What are we trying to get these people to realize or invite them to realize? And then from there, like, what are like, how could I get there? Or what pieces could I do of that? What do I have resources for? You know what I mean? So it's a little bit backwards.
I'm not sure what you mean by gap.
Oh, sure. Like, somebody in your community who likes flowers but isn't stewards of the land. Who would they be? What are they like? What's somebody who's not a steward of the land?
Of what land?
Of nature. What you were talking about. You want to be a steward of nature.
Okay. So they're not in the same place that I'm in. To be honest with you, most of my customers are like that.
Okay, so it's really about deepening that.
Yeah, I think so. So. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So how could they deepen? You know, like, what would be a powerful deepening of their stewardship journey?
I think it would probably be connecting somehow on the property. So like I said, I haven't really dipped my toe into that because I'm afraid once I open that door, I'm not going to be able to close it if I want to. So I'm really I think it's going to be a very gradual thing. I'm not going to dive into it. So yeah, I think that connecting with the farm, actually on the farm, is it. And I found that when I've given tours to my CSA members, it just brings them so much closer.
Cool.
So that I think that would be a really good move for me.
That sounds great.
Thanks so much. Candace, let us know about the lavender event. That sounds like it might be that might be your first toe in the water of what Emily's suggesting.
It's going to be, yeah.
My parents had a lavender farm. They don't have it anymore, but my favorite thing to do, and it got me thinking of, like, I don't know, meditation things. My favorite thing to do would just be sitting between the rows and listen to the bees, because they drown out everything.
Oh my God.
And it's just amazing. A cool experience. Like, how cool would it be like, we're all just going to go sit in the field and listen to the bees.
Yeah, well, that's so cool that you did that, because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I want to try to squeeze in at least two more people. It's 9:45 or quarter to the hour. So thank you, Candace. Bethany Little is the next question that's popped up in the feed of Charles Little and Company, who Emily, of course, Bethany. She said, one of my big goals is to work on running our business more smoothly by getting the year more calendared and having weekly meetings with different groups within our business to communicate more clearly what our goals are, and also to find a group of people to talk about HR problems and solutions with. My biggest struggle is HR and IT. We're into the acronyms this year, huh, Bethany?
How do you feel about saying all those things?
Good. I feel really good about it because it says like, I don't have a mission statement. Our business is over 30 years old and it has never said like, this is what we do. We just like do all these things. And recently, I have like to the left of me, I have like big poster boards that you would have like in a conference. And I just walk in a house and I just start writing on that because I just like, I've got to dump it down. Yeah. And there's things on there like, charge more for the farm stand, for you pick, like I'm going to forget these things, but they're like, I had these strong thoughts, like don't do weddings, like just stop, like how do we get around that because of how we're associated with our community, and so it's been really good. And I'm going to write down those goals and actually make them like real because then I can actually have a meeting with people. But and explain like why are things so different, because it's confusing to our employees, and there's a lot of employees and there's lots of different groups of employees. And, we've had employees for a really long time, and like the biggest struggle is it's like I grew up in this business. I grew in this business learning how to do HR, how to be an employer. So I sucked at the beginning. And I still have those same employees, and they remember sucky Bethany. And
I love those employees.
There's the, like Bethany's trying really, really hard and just like gets reminded like, well, like, I'm like, yeah, but that was 20 years ago. Let's move forward.
Right.
So I need help in HR because I have, personality conflicts with really great employees, and so yeah, it's hard. And I think that most people have HR and being one of their hardest things, and I think maybe I need to just like make the goals more clear and force people to have the meetings they don't want. I don't know.
Okay.
So that's why I said all those things.
So it sounds like this HR person is solving the problem of people not wanting to meet.
I'm HR.
You're HR. Yeah.
I'm HR. I'm IT.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So it sounds to me like and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm understanding that it's almost like I don't have time to deal with people's personalities.
No, I want to deal with people's personalities. I want them to come to meetings. It's really hard to get people to stop and understand how important the meeting is so that later there's no personality problems, because there's no personality really that has to go into it because we're actually trying just to solve the business goals.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part for me.
Okay.
I don't know how to like get there.
I don't know either, but we'll just like do some things and see what happens. Right. So it sounds like, and I'm not saying that you should or should not have an HR person. It sounds like we're looking at this HR person as the solution to personality problems.
Okay.
Right. But I'm saying that the humans have the personality problems because they're humans.
Yes. I mean,
no,
I'm part of the problem.
Everybody is, right? Because we have these brains that say stuff and think stuff, and we're always going to make a problem. That's just what we do. We find problems.
Right.
So but it's like it's so good to hear that they're still there, like they still trust you. some employees are just gonna always have problems, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna find reasons to be frustrated at something. So I think in the interim, as you go about figuring out an HR solution, in the interim, what kind of compassion can you have for them as being employees of your business? What are they dealing with?
You know, I don't really know exactly what they're dealing with. I think that part of it is like not necessarily knowing what my goals are and the changes that happen every year, you know, just sort of like, okay, we don't do this anymore. We are now doing this. And then when they interact with the public or like, I'm like, hey, when someone shows up, call me because I need to like deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like change is hard. And
Yeah.
I mean, I like to change all the time. Change is
Change is
hard
fun.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's and like I said, you know, like when you've had someone working for you for a long time and you're like, yeah, we're flipping it on its head. Because like everybody else who said in front of me was like, I need a better life work balance. Right. So to do that, I need to have a more organized business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to have the employees on board.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I'm trying to do this last year, I tried to do more like celebrate birthdays and celebrate fun things and just have pizza parties and, you know, like a lot of employee appreciation.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I can't meet people with their personal problems.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to make their life better.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm getting all the supplies and doing all the things, you know what I mean? Keeping people well, you know, like you have all the tools, you have all the equipment, you have all the safety gear. You know, that's a whole nother job, you know, like so
yeah, and you shouldn't have to make their lives, you know, that's not your job. So
it's not my job to like make them happy.
Yes,
it's my
and you
job
can't.
Exactly.
You can't make anybody happy. Their feelings are a result of their own body responses and their own thoughts.
Exactly.
So
and I leave it there because I can't control it.
Yeah. So what you can do is create an environment that allows them to have their own thoughts and their own feelings and still have clear goals with the understanding that they're humans and they're going to have their own thoughts and feelings about it. You know, this is, I think there's a lot of aspects to this conversation and I can see Deborah popping up. So it tells me there's not a lot of time left.
Sorry.
But I would say maybe at the beginning of meetings, you could just, well, two things. First, a practice of not just like happy birthday, but a practice of, I see you trying this thing that I know is hard for you. I see you implementing this change that I asked for. And I know it must not be easy because I change a lot of things all the time, but I just wanted to let you know that I see you doing that. And I'm so appreciative and you're doing a great job. You know what I mean? So instead of a happy birthday practice, I appreciate you as a person, be like, specifically the things I asked you to do, you are doing. And man, I'm just like so proud of you because I change a lot and I got this messy brain and you're doing a really good job trying to navigate that. But then also be like, here's our meeting. I know everybody's anxious, whatever's going on in the world, you know, like let's all put that in the box and we can pick it up and take it with us when we leave, but let's all put this here today. I really want you guys to understand this and ask me questions and tell me tell me if you're having any doubts on how you could be on board with this, tell me what that is. You know what I mean?
I'm scribbling as fast as I can.
That's
good luck.
awesome.
That's a bear.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Emily. I mean, Bethany, thank you for being vulnerable. That's just a lot that I think you manage more people than many on this call, but we all can take sort of that same strategy for any interpersonal relationship with a vendor or a freelancer or whatever. Okay, I'm going to just jump in here for a minute and say we're almost at the top of the hour. We have two more people who I want to have a chance to talk with. Emily, if you can go for like 10 more minutes, Emily.
Totally, yeah. So
okay,
fun.
Great. So Karen is we're going to just do a little promotional before people go. Karen's going to put the link to Emily's new class, or not a new class. You've had this class kind of for a couple years. So
actually, yeah, it used to be price and profit design. It used to be for floral designers specifically. Now it's for artists, and it's a lot simpler.
Do you want to just talk quickly about it? And so just give us a synopsis and we'll make sure we send it to everybody.
Totally. It's a strategy. It's really a money course. It's a money strategy course. That's really just like the benevolent bait and switch for just empowerment and how to like come at your business knowing your power, like what we saw from some of the people today, and being willing to share it and be seen and know the value that it has for others and be able to talk about it more clearly. It has the added layer of figuring out what you want from your business and then putting a cost to it and then seeing what you need to do financially in your business to get that.
Great. And it's a one-time, what's the charge? It's pretty affordable, like 300 something.
Yeah, I think it's like the best deal out there. It's $297 and it's at your own pace. I'm thinking if we get enough people, we'll do like a floral designer specific like group.
Okay.
But it is at your own pace. It also comes with monthly group coaching where we do something like this with other artists forever. So like once a month you drop in, we talk. And so that's why I think it's just
yeah. Okay, great. So there's no like you can start at your convenience.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Emily. And then the other thing I want to just mention is next month, February, for our meetup, we're going to have it on Friday, the first Friday rather than the second Friday of the month because of Valentine's Day. So we'll meet on February 3rd, and it's going to be member only. You have to be a member to have admission to this because it's going to be an intensive 1 hour with two of our members who are experienced professional photographers in their past life. They've brought their flower photography chops to their current floral businesses, and they're going to give you all kinds of tools to up your photography game. And that's Tiffany Anderson from Earth and Seeds and Krista Rosso from O Flora Farms. And so I'm really excited about this. We had a meeting about it yesterday. And so just keep an eye on that for your calendar. The 10th will be too close to Valentine's Day. So we're going to do it on the 3rd and you'll get that invitation and we'll be announcing it and all of that. So we have Katie Tolson and Sarah Riaz. I don't know, Sarah, if you're still on, but I'd like to let Katie talk quickly with Emily and then Sarah, and then we'll wrap up. And as I said, I feel that if you have to go because you'll get to see the replay video of this. So thanks. Hi, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is my first call with you. So this is really fun. This has been great so far.
Cool.
Thanks for including me.
Oh, I didn't read what your issue was. Not issue.
I can reiterate if it helps.
Okay, good. And then I'll do Sarah Riaz next.
Yeah, I have a small homegrown nursery and flower farm in Hastings-on-Hudson, New York, which is just about 30 minutes north of Manhattan. And I have just recently started throwing pottery again, which I haven't done for about 18 years. Wow. And it's going to be my first year doing subscriptions. So I was noodling with the idea of creating a line of ceramic vessels to go with my flowers. So that's sort of my business creative goal for the year. And then my second part was just that I'm sort of miserable with social media.
Yeah.
I find it really hard. And that's probably my number 2 goal work-wise, is to get, more comfortable with it and better at it and learn how to use it to
Mhm.
grow my business this year. So
Okay.
that's just
Which
it.
one it sounds like you're going to do your pottery. It sounds like the social media one is a little harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what you are miserable. Why is it miserable?
It makes me like cringe.
Yeah. What about it?
I love social media personally for like the education that I get through it. But I find, and maybe it's just like it's a confidence thing. Or maybe it's like an imposter syndrome thing too, is that I feel like, well, this isn't interesting. This is just stuff people know. And like, why would I share that?
Uh-huh.
I feel like sort of that I find. And just to put my, like, I have friends that tease me because they're like, oh, I was talking to you about you with a friend, and I was going to share something. There's not like a single picture of you on your feed.
Oh yeah.
So
So
they're like, does she really exist?
Is it about showing yourself?
Yeah, it's partly that, and also sharing what I'm doing, or knowing what would be helpful to share what I'm doing to help my business, if that is helpful at all, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I talk a lot about this in just like my weekly newsletter and stuff. So if you want to, there's lots more on that if you wanted to sign up for that. But I would say, so this is how I see social media. And I love this topic because when I started becoming a coach, I had the same problem because I never wanted me to be the face of my company. I wanted other people. I knew I wanted a big company. Now it's just me. And so I had the same problem. Like, I gotta put my face out there. Like, who wants to see me? I'm totally irrelevant, and to my what I'm doing, my work. I want my work to stand out by itself, And so I actually went to a self-image coach who basically had me, and if you go through my Emily Ellen Art Biz Coach Instagram, you'll see like naked pictures of me pregnant with watermelons, like I did these photo shoots that were so ridiculous. And then we looked at them and found how they were useful or beautiful or relevant or interesting. And then I had to post them, and I didn't die. So I think some of like social media is just like, what's that thing where you just do it enough times and then it's not so bad. And I'll tell you kind of my philosophy on social media that might help with what to post. I see it as, so your business is this world you're creating. It's not, the business is part of that, right? So I don't know why you do ceramics. I don't know why you do flowers, but there's something there that is this world building thing that you're doing. And there's lots of aspects. There's who you are, there's your hands, there's your environment, there's why you choose what materials, there's everything, right, is in this world. It's what you want other people to feel when they're holding something that you've made. There's what you feel when you're holding something. There's just everything. There's things that you look at that you're inspired by, that you feel connected to other people with, or nature or yourself or whatever. This is all your world. And social media is only an invitation for people to come into your world. That's it. It's just invitations, come to my world. This is what I'm interested in. This is my life. This is my face. This is my face. This is my body. And I don't know, I like it. Or don't, but this is what I got, and this is my world, and you are invited to be here with me. I'd like you to be here with me. So that's it. That's social media. From there, you offer them things, and those are ways to deepen their relationship with you through your business by buying things, deepen their relationship with themselves through having a thing you've made. You know what I mean? So your social media could be anything about your world that you're building, that you want to build, the things, your reality, like the things that you notice in the world that influence everything. It's all interesting. Isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
So Katie, we're all going to follow you now and give you affirmations.
Please don't. No, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Put your Instagram in the chat. It's Seed on Hudson. I love that, Emily. I think we could all take that with us, and I'm sure Nisha's over there nodding her head off. Okay, we want to talk to Sarah. Is that okay? And then we'll thank you, Katie. Sarah Reyes of Wildflower and Fern. She has the distinct honor of being the only person besides Nisha who has attended every single Slow Flowers Summit.
Wow, you need like a badge.
Oh, she gets them. Yeah. So can I just read what you wrote, Sarah? Yeah. Okay. She said, I was just a baby shop this is in Oakland. When COVID hit, these last 3 years, I've been able to stick to our mission of sourcing almost 100% local, minus 2 weeks this December only. But I've gotten into an unplanned yet necessary groove of just keeping the shop open and moving flowers, doing less outreach, connecting and connecting and less community engagement than she had hoped to be doing. It feels like it's just time to start implementing some of those plans I had in the beginning. They just seem much more lofty now and a bit overwhelming. So you've got this retail shop that you're kind of like the mouth that you have to keep feeding. Yeah. And I think Emily will have some good thoughts on that.
Yeah. So with the overwhelm, like, and you know that doing these things that you're not doing is going to be critical for you to be interested in staying in this business, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you can't keep just pushing flowers and doing this thing. I mean, is kind of written in that is, you need this other stuff. So I just first want to put it out that it is critical for the business that you try to get some of these other interests. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I feel like it's like my capacity to do all the things shrank because of what's been going on the last 3 years and stuff in my life too. I mean, I get overwhelmed if my house gets a certain way. So I have a personal overwhelm issue.
Yeah.
And the business overwhelm issue. And for me, like the work-life balance, it's not a big thing for me to work on because I don't have kids. The shop and my employees are my kids.
Yeah.
Kind of how I think of it. And so this actually that helps me with that balance. And so, but it's like having to be in 100% all this time, just moving flowers.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, it's going to settle down in 2023 a little, and it kind of is a little, but I also haven't been putting enough emphasis on what revenue is coming in. Like, because I've just been trying to keep it open and move flowers, I'm not really as financially stable as I feel like I should be, even though I know, hey, I'm still in business, I am doing it. But it's like, how do I need to implement some of these things so that I can get more revenue, so that I can keep employing these people that I feel proud of. It's part of the payment for me, or the revenue for me, is being able to do that for these employees.
Yeah.
And I do realize in order to sustain it and keep doing it and growing it, I need to add some of these other ideas. Mm-hmm. I guess it's just like, where do I start? Which one do I start with? And as I'm saying it out loud, I realized you just pick one and start. But then it's like, well, which one?
Mm-hmm. So what are the options?
So some of the things are.
Give me two.
Okay. We're in a very affluent shopping neighborhood. So as much as I would like them to be, my flowers are not accessible to everybody I would like for them to be accessible to.
Okay.
Walking in and shopping retail. I would like for them to be accessible to more people. I would like to attract customers to the shop that don't regularly shop in this neighborhood.
Okay.
And that could be a comfort level. That could be a financial thing. There's a lot of aspects to that. So that's one. And then I believe that an easy way of getting revenue and a way of having more community engagement is getting on a garden club circuit, getting out there and start doing talks and demos with the garden clubs in the area, who these are typically more affluent people that can afford to do these workshops with me so that I can do other workshops for other people. You know, so
Yeah.
start there. I guess it's like I kind of know what the things are. I just need a little boost and
Yeah.
do it.
Tell me about these affluent people. Do you have any like heaviness towards affluent people?
Only in that I feel like they're the only people I can service. It's not that I don't want them to be part of my market. I just want to be able to market to other people also.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think I just say that because some people have a thing where it's like, I feel like I'm so elite and exclusive that I'm pushing away the people that I love. You know what I mean? And so it feels painful that
Right.
you're where we can look at these affluent people who can afford and sustain your business as needing things too. Like they need what flowers
do.
come too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And are not spiritually as in like energy, they're often not they're not more well off than people who cannot afford your flowers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Energy, they have stuff too. You know what I mean?
yes.
So I just point that out there just in case it's useful. It might not be, but okay. So it sounds like the long-term vision of your business has lots of different aspects. You're supporting the flowers of the people that have the money to afford what you have, and you have developed something that is more accessible for people that cannot afford, a really expensive arrangement, that they can have flowers in their lives somehow. And have you thought about what that might be?
I think it would be more because flowers have gotten so expensive. It's difficult for me to have a lower price point. It'll be much smaller, right? But still, that can bring a lot to somebody's day. I think it would be workshops or classes or demos or something at a lower price point. Maybe it's in a different place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have a space to do workshops here. Would have to go to.
Yeah.
Maybe find a space that would allow for doing those kinds of things and
totally
doing them.
And what's the in having flowers for everybody? What's the goal there? Like, what is that doing for the world in this community?
So it's creating an inclusive space. Not everybody, but most everybody to be able to walk past this shop and see themselves here. Who's working here, or what they can afford, or even like the greeting cards, what can they just see themselves here or see themselves being comfortable here? To me, that's important. And because I have heard some people say, well, I don't go to Rockridge. Oh, I don't do Rockridge. I won't be able to see your shop. I don't go to Rockridge. And so, and I can't reach everybody. But I think it is, I don't just want to be what I consider inclusive by who I hire at the shop, right? Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it. Not so that visually it looks inclusive. That's important to me, but also that I'm inclusive in who can shop here.
Yeah. Okay. So an inclusive space, so you want people to be comfortable in your shop there, or do you want to have shops elsewhere?
I've actually considered having another location.
Mm-hmm.
Right in this moment, because of the financial stuff, it's not a reality, but it could be within the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
And I hadn't considered that that's how I could do that, rather than bringing people here. That's actually kind of really cool idea.
Yeah. So for you, I would say you have this big overarching goal, and you've really just started. and I think there's some of like an impatience on being able to get to that quicker. I would say this is the goal. You have developed this inclusive, loving, warm, really welcoming world of flowers for everybody. We don't know how that's going to look yet, but that's the goal. That happens down the road. That's happening, right? So what I would say is for you to to sit for a while on the inevitability of that happening. And so not being so stuck with this needs to happen now, this isn't happening now. And be like, okay, I'm looking this year for ways to start bringing that in, I don't know how that's going to look, but I do know I can't force people to be comfortable here. You know what I mean? So what can you do? You can hire people, right? You can on social media be inclusive everywhere, right? In different ways. You can do an installation in different areas as a gift, and have people take photos with it. There's things you can do to support this inclusivity on the way to develop to fleshing out this world that you're building, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah. And I stop putting so much pressure on myself to be there right now. I'm on my way there.
Yeah. Because like the energy of you knowing that it's happening, it's just the process that you're in. It can calm you down, right? And then it can have you actually look at the possibilities rather than just being overwhelmed on what you can't do. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So beautiful. I love everyone's heart and honesty and vulnerability. And this seemed like a really great forum for that, with Slow Flowers minded members who are willing to be vulnerable, even though we don't really all know each other. And I think that, thank you everyone who is willing to share your goals with Emily. And Emily, thank you for making it feel safe for people. And I just love watching your process. It gives me a much better sense of how you are as a coach. And you don't tell anybody what to do. You're just mirroring back what people are saying with your filter of curiosity. And that's why they call you Curious Lola, I'm sure. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it's my job to just, see everybody else's creative genius. And I know everybody's power. And I know that the impact people have when they know their power and they just go out and get it, So that's what I'm here to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone who hung in there. We had like 22 people are still on the call. So we touched a lot of brains and hearts and souls and spirits today. And that's really just such a rewarding feeling. So thank you all. Have a great 3-day Martin Luther King Day weekend, and we'll see you in February. Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.